Blog Talk Radio.
It seems like I got nothing to do. Hit up SimFBall Radio. I'm listening to one of the top podcasts, and they bringing you the real. And when they talk sports, it feels like you want to feel. From real talk to real sports, from Madden to 2K. Just listen for one day. They'll grab you and you'll say it's on the net, man. Turn off your stereo, not music. I mess with SimFBall Radio.
Yes, sir, man. And obviously, if you're here, you messing with SimFBall Radio also. So huge shout out first to Giant Turkey for that intro. Always got to give him his love on that. And welcome back, man. Episode 46. We got another show for you tonight, SimFBall Radio. For you guys who are listening online, definitely if you want to give us a call in the second half of the show tonight, you can reach us at 914-338-0794. And everybody else who's listening, man, you know, we definitely want to welcome you into the show. We got a nice show lined up for you. And, you know, around this time of the year, it's always interesting topics. You know, we have pretty decent discussions that we can, develop as we wait for games to come out. But anyway, man, before we get started, we're going to go around and check on the guys. What's going on, Smitty? How's everything going, man? How was your week?
Everything's going good, man. Can't complain. You know what I'm saying? Definitely looking forward to today's show, especially with all the interactivity. And that's been exceptional today, you know what I'm saying? But, ready to do another show, man. You know what I'm saying? Got interesting topics. Looking forward to it, especially when the callers come in, you know. Want to hear people's perspectives based off of what we touch on here today.
Yeah, man, absolutely. AZ, man, what's going on out in Tennessee, man? How was your week?
It was good, man. Just, you know, as I say, I'm always in the Titans news, and it's smoke screen time for the NFL draft, and we talk about we're going to take Mariota. Well, the rumors are take Mariota, which I think is a smoke screen because I think we'd rather have Leonard Williams out of USC, but then start over at quarterback. But I don't know, man. I get into real football this time of year. Like I said, it's 24/7, 365. So NFL Network is my sports center. I actually get mad when people start talking about baseball and March Madness and all that kind of stuff around this time of year. It's free agency and NFL draft and pro days for me. So, you know, I'm looking forward to the show tonight too. Hope people call in and listen in and weigh their opinions, because we got some good topics.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I'm always looking for some of those callers that I would expect to call that seem to never call. So maybe we'll be surprised by one of those type of calls tonight. But same with me, man. I've just been keeping up with the news, and you know, as a Steelers fan, this is the time of year where it's kind of dry and it's kind of, you know, head scratching, because we know. You know, I said this on the show a few weeks ago. We definitely know, you know, Pittsburgh's formula, and we know how they get down. But when you're seeing a lot of other stuff going on, you still get the itch, like, oh man, I wish we would do something. You know, but I understand the philosophy. It has worked, you know, obviously. You know, maybe not here of late, with the exception of this past season. You know, they haven't been dominating, you know, people like that, but they are, you know, a winning organization, so I can't really, you know, disagree with the way they do business. But the head scratches is things like, and I don't know, maybe some of you other guys may disagree, but, you know, I see that we re-signed Darius Hayward-Day, and I'm kind of like, you know, he didn't, to his, you know, defense, he didn't have a lot of opportunity this year, but it's almost like he's one of these guys that you may have been able to replace somewhere else. So I may would have, you know, held off on that signing. But then again, he was one of the top special team guys, and I would assume he didn't cost that much money. But, you know, when you see stuff like that during free agency, it just, you know, it gives you that feeling like, man, I wish we would do something else. But it is what it is, man. You know, we're going into April come next week. So pretty soon after that, you know, about 30 days or so after that, we'll be able to see the draft. So like Azura said, man, it's 24/7. But let's get to these topics, man. We got some pretty interesting topics tonight. And, you know, first and foremost, the first one we're definitely going to jump off is let's let the past be the past. And we will explain to you what we mean by that. We'll basically talk about the community and how we kind of live in the past a little too much. There's nothing that can really be done about the past. We need to focus on the present and the future. But like I said, we'll dive into that first. Next topic, we definitely want to talk about the Unreal 4 expectations. One thing that I brought up to these guys early in the week, and even with some other guys on Twitter, the Unreal 4 engine, we have not seen it on a sports title. And I know it may be a fairly new engine, but to me, that's part of the head scratcher, somewhat of a concern. And the reason why, and we'll get into it, but let me, preference it with this. I said on a live stream on the SFL, shout out to those guys again, man, Cameron Irvin and Darth Deathstroke and everyone who's, is doing that league. Shout out to those guys. Make sure you check them out. But I mentioned that, the way that game was playing and the way the gameplay looks in his stream, I said I would like to see 2K's engine in Joe Montana 16 if they are affiliated with them, versus Unreal 4. And the reason why I said that, I said it's a proven engine. I wasn't knocking the engine. I just said, man, this is a proven engine. I almost feel like I'd rather see that in the 2015 version of that. So we'll get into that discussion because I got a lot of pushback on that, and I don't think people really understood what I was trying to say. But then after that, man, we definitely want to finish up with, cheese-free sports games. What sports games out there are currently, cheddar cheese free. We know none of them are fully free of cheese, but we're definitely going to dive in and talk about, the games that we feel like, and, some of the usual suspects, some of the games that don't feel arcadey, and kind of discuss the type of things that they may be doing in their product to make the game, give it more of a realistic feel. All right, so we'll go ahead and kick it off, man. And I'll go ahead and start tonight as far as the first topic, only because, I definitely want to address this. This was really one of the topics that I brought to the guys, and they definitely wanted to dive into it as well. Just my little spiel here, man. We need to leave the past in the past. And I'm just going to ramble on here for a minute. Guys, this is a live radio show. I don't write anything down, all of the time. I can't even say a lot of times. All of the time, the guys here, we just go off the cuff. That's what makes it interesting. But it's like, I just don't understand why we live in the past so much in this community, especially with the football community. It has been established a million times, maybe more than that 2K produced more realistic style football games, more replication. And I see guys, starting to use that term in the community as well, which is something that I said a long time ago in videos. I said, I think we loosely use that simulation term, but what we're really referring to is replication. We all know 2K did it the best. And what kills me about living in the past, there is nothing that can be done right now, regardless of if 2K did it better. What can be done right now? Why are we still talking about that? Now, if you are talking to 2K, and if you know that they're making a football game, that's a different story. But otherwise, I don't understand why I'm always drawn into these same conversations over and over and over and over again. I have to tell you, man, I can't say it's draining in terms of it affects my life, because really I laugh at this stuff and keep it moving. But it is draining in terms of, you want to be active with the community. You want to be able to interact with all of our peers in this community and all of that. But I'm sorry, man, I don't like talking about the same thing over and over in any situation. If I went to my job and every day we're talking about the same problem, eventually I'm going to be like, I got to get out of this job. I can't do it. What we need to be talking about is things like SFL. That's something that's currently going on. Or things like last night. I did a live stream with Battlefield Hardline, and guess who pops up in the stream? Damon Groh. He sends me a tweet like, hey, man, I'm going to try to check this out if I get a chance. He pops into the stream. He said he got a break He's going to make some tea. He's going to sit back and watch. And Damon was in the stream for about an hour. And we're just, quote unquote talking. I'm talking and, he's texting. But we're having a good conversation, man, about nostalgia and football games. This is what I'm talking about. This is what we need to be focusing on, the now and the future. Like, we live in the past too much. And I'm telling you, man, it's kind of sad when I see some of you guys do that. And I'm not the type of guy that say, in all due respect, I don't do that. I'm just a real dude, outside of this game. And if people that know me know, I'm going to tell you like it is, even if you're my brother. Like, I ain't feeling some of you guys right now. I'm just not, because for one, this is the thing. Everybody keeps talking about how come Madden can't do this and can't do that. And what kills me is we all came to a determination at some point that either the engine wasn't good or we all agreed to the fact that in 2006, there was a debacle. Like, let's go through a timeline for a second. Everybody agrees that the PS2 days was the best Madden. That's what everybody said. Pretty much everybody agrees when it jumped to 360, something happened. And everybody says the game was bad on 360 and PS3 through that entire generation. How long has it been on PS4 and Xbox One? We're going to deal with facts right now. These ain't excuses. This is just us being realist about the situation. Didn't I say this a long time ago? Even before, think about it. If for you guys who've been with me from day one, how many times, and I can say at least 3 years ago, did you hear me say, man, if the game's been bad for 8 years, it's going to take almost that amount of time for it to be great. This was before I was a game changer. And that's for all the people who feel to think that, Sim is different now. Okay. Go back and listen to some of the stuff I was saying before I was down with EA. I actually say worse stuff now than some of the things I said back then. How ironic is that? But this is what I don't get. We're supposed to be smart individuals. That's why I love guys like 757, NY Kia, 205, Alabama, DJ 81. And I know I'm missing guys. I'm going to stop naming names because it's a ton of you guys. You know who we respect and all that. But it's like you use your own head. You can see for yourself exactly what's happening. And like Azur always says, you cannot walk into McDonald's and ask for a Whopper. So the whole comparison, why they can't do this. Like, I actually heard a dude say today, I don't know why they didn't just copy and paste everything that 2K did. Maybe they can't. Let's just be honest. Maybe the developers back in that time couldn't do it. Or maybe their systems are set up different. Look at what's happening now. Look at all these games that are coming out now for next gen, all of these new engines you're hearing about. Unreal 4, and it's slipping my mind now, but there's a whole lot of games that got these new engines. What does that mean? There's so many different engines that work so many different ways, different perspectives, different ideas. That's why the games will never be the same. But let me throw this at you. You claim you want competition, but you want to see every game work the same way. You want them all to play the exact same way. What's the point in that? And I know I sound a little, snappy, but honestly, I am, man. I am tired of listening to the same nonsense over and over when you got 3 guys here that are telling you exactly what the deal is. You've never had people like this. You never had dudes like us to bring it to you the way we bring it to you, but some of you refuse to listen to it. That's what was so funny to me. It's hilarious because at the end of the day, I know. Azur knows. Smitty knows. And some of the other guys that I mentioned, they smart enough to tune in and they figured it out too. So it's you that's uninformed. That ain't my problem, man. Y'all keep on being uninformed. If you can't, it's like we in a class. If I give the lesson, some people gonna get an A+, some people gonna get an F-, if that's even a such thing. because they ain't paying attention. But like I said, I know I've gone on for a long time, man, but bottom line, it's crazy to me just to see how, with backtracking to the past, like a lot of you dudes contradict your own points that you've made. We pay attention. We see almost everything that goes on in this community. And some of you are contradicting your own self with the blind hate that you have for Madden. That is hilarious. I can't get no better. This is comedy at its best. You know, and like I said, before I throw it to Smitty, just to give you a quick recap, same stuff we've been saying all along. PS2 days, amazing. Azure has done numerous videos showing NCAA on the PS2. Great stuff. We all agreed on that. It hit the 360, broken engine. Even Ian Cummins basically said that if you read between the lines. Now we on the PS4, 360, Xbox One. They're trying to repair everything. Now, question could be, why didn't they just do a new engine? I can see your point there, but guess what? When they went to the 360, that was a new engine. So maybe they didn't want to make that mistake again. The next point, you've heard Rex Dixon, whether you like him or not, that's not for me to decide. You've heard him say out of his own mouth numerous times, yeah, you know, we're challenged with having to go in and rip out old stuff and build new stuff. He's telling you exactly why the game is not what it is. The dev is telling you that. Not Smitty, not Sim, not Azure. He's not making an excuse. When somebody tells me a statement like, man, I got to go in, like I take my car somewhere, like say I want to restore an old Chevelle or something like that. And I go to this mechanic, he's like, well, first thing we got to do is rip this interior out. You know, it's going to look beautiful, though, when you come back. When you come back next week, I got you, man. But if you come tomorrow, it's going to look a little raggedy. I got to rip it out. Those are facts. That's not an excuse. He's not telling me that my car might not look good. He's telling me exactly the situation. That statement by Rex Dixon is an exact statement. That is not an excuse. Y'all can call me whatever you want for saying that, but if you can't see that yourself, then I can't fix your problem. I can't fix whatever issue you have. But that's all I got to say, man. I mean, like I said, apologize for the long rant, but it's just been on my mind all week, man, because my Twitter is blowing up every day with nonsense. I feel like it's Groundhog Day. I feel like Bill Murray and Groundhog Day. We got to get past that, man. We have to move past this and talk about the now and the future. Madden 16, Joe Montana 16. Let's focus on that. All right, Smitty, man. Rescue me before I keep going, man.
All right. Well, you know, I got something I got to go in on, too, with this whole matter here. But first of all, I'm glad that you upload these episodes onto YouTube and everything. I greatly appreciate it. Most definitely do that with this one. I'm going to make a real point based off of real life situations, and I'm going to wind it all the way down to this little video game thing. Now, I'm not going to be long with it because I definitely want Azura to make his point so then we can keep, you know, as well as keep the show going here. But, okay, first of all, and I said this before the show started, a widely accepted opinion is not fact. It's still an opinion. It doesn't matter. I see people still tweeting right now. Got me in there and everything. Oh, the engine's broke. It's broke. It don't do this. The devs ain't capable. Well, Clint's capable, but I don't think they're capable. Well, I blocked him because he can't handle what I'm saying. I'm too real for him and all that. All that stuff is opinion. That's all your opinion. It's not fact. Just because you can showcase a flaw in a game, that doesn't make it fact. That doesn't mean that, well, that means the engine's broken. They can never make it happen. Factually prove it to me. Don't show me a video of flaws and then give me your opinion, because as I've said last week, we can easily go through FIFA, PES, NBA 2K, 2K5, 2K8, MLB The Show. We could go through all the games and just let's make nothing but negative videos. If the community is really up to it, let's do it. Let's just tear every single game down. Let's find every flaw and broadcast it as if the game's broken and it does nothing as far as fundamentals, as far as baseball, football, soccer, basketball, or baseball. That's not hard to do. That is not hard to do. But that's the pre-point I wanted to make. Now the main point is this. Pulling from my real life example. Back in the day, 2004, I had spoke about this in YouTube videos in past. You followed me from, if you've been following me. Back in 2004, my father had passed away from cancer. Okay. Now, in 2003, when we went to the hospital, father had back pain and everything, serious back pain, go to the doctor, they test them and everything. We go home. We get a call from the doctor. We got to go to the hospital ASAP. They tell us, you got cancer. Do you think that myself, my mother, especially my father at that time, you think any of us wanted to accept that reality that he had cancer? No, obviously we didn't. But the thing is, we didn't sit there and say, you know what? We ain't accepting what you saying. We going to go ahead and get some Tylenol 3s and just pop those and he'd be all right. No. The reality was he was diagnosed. He was sick. We didn't like it, but that was the fact. That was the truth. And we had to do what we had to do. Nevertheless, he won his victory regardless because he's home with the Lord. He may not be here physically, but he's in the proper place. But the point of the matter is to take from that. I'm not saying that for empathy. I'm saying it because I like to make points as real as it gets and then scale it all the way down to this little video gaming thing that people want to be subjective about. Real life, father was sick, had to do what we had to do. The diagnosis was real. There was no skipping around it. There was no, well, this is what I'm going to perceive it as. I'm going to give it my own twist. No, he had cancer. And that's what we had to deal with. That was the situation. And we had to realistically combat it accordingly the whole time. You think that we accepted that? No, none of us accepted it. We didn't like it at all. But nevertheless, we still pushed forward. We got the situation, push forward. Now, let's skip it all the way. Let's dwindle from there all the way down this little video gaming thing. People say that the Sim standard was quote unquote infiltrated or quote unquote bought out by EA. If you actually were paying attention, you would have actually seen that in August 2011, we were all saying that Madden 12 wasn't actually that bad of a game. It's because we didn't tell you what you wanted to hear. And because we didn't tell you what you wanted to hear, oh, EA got y'all. Oh, y'all sold out. Y'all. That was the beginning right there. We didn't say Madden had it. We said, hey, man, we can't, we got to give these dudes credit. They're actually starting to listen. They actually got some signs of life. Sim made a lot of videos off of that during that time span. Heck, you even had a guy in there, you even had a dude in there make the comparison draw and say, hey, this is the best Madden in terms of gameplay and features that is comparable to NFL 2K5 and APF. That was said on Sim Standard. And people said we sold out. People said the EA infiltrated. No. Azura went down to EA in February 2012. He echoes the exact same sentiment today that he said dang near 3 years ago. No, 3 years ago. That's over 3 years now. We went down there in June. Same sentiment. We're telling you guys, we never said that Madden is there. But because we're not doing the rant videos and saying what people want to hear and so that people could catch catch their eargasms and eyegasms and all that, because we're not showing 80 million flaw videos and just saying, man, they ain't never going to get it. Because we're not doing that, we're compromised. We're sold out. We don't know what we're talking about no more. We got to go over here. These guys are posers. They're not about SimFootball, blah, blah, blah. Or like what was said on Twitter today, damage control. It's not damage control. Okay? It's the truth. NFL 2K, and I'm going to end it with this example here. When people keep saying, man, 2K did it the best, and 2K5. Now, you haven't heard neither one of the three of us. You never have heard us yet say, Madden's better than 2K. Madden's better than 2K5. You have not heard us say that one time, nor have we shown that. But people draw that assumption because we show a positive video of Madden, and that's what that means. That's what that automatically is meant, because this community likes to accept the opinion that if you showcase Madden in a positive light, you're compromised. You're not about SimFootball. But if you sit up here and bash Madden to no end, and you showcase how fundamentally flawed it is at every single possible juncture, then you're a genius. That's not the reality of the situation here, guys. The reality is that the game is getting better in terms of what we demanded. But it's going to take these guys time. That's what happened with 2K football. I keep saying the same point, and people could keep ignoring it, but it's the reality. It's not, you don't have to accept the reality, but it is the reality. It took 2K at least 7 years with consistent league development from Greg Thomas being the lead developer over that series. It took at least 7 years to get you what you got in 2K5. Cam Webber wasn't there in 2005. He wasn't at EA. He wasn't there. That's like me blaming Jim Caldwell from the Lions going 0-16. Why? He wasn't there. That's stupid. I wouldn't blame him for that. This is Cam's fourth title. This is Rex's fourth game. This is Clint's fourth game with Madden 16. This is their fourth game. So I'm going to realistically judge them based upon the facts, not based off of what a community accepts as far as an opinion is concerned, and just saying that, well, this game is broken, it's always broke, it doesn't replicate football. And the funniest thing is this. You have people out here that say, I'm not going to buy it, I'm not going to play it, but yet they're telling you that the game's broken. How in the heck can you tell somebody how good a product is when you ain't even play it? That's one of the silliest things I ever heard of. And see, this is what I'm saying. You have the facts. Like I said, just to cap off what I said past the AZ. The facts. Father was diagnosed with cancer. That was a fact. That wasn't an opinion. There wasn't anything to refute. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't just sit up there and tell the doctor, no, you know what, we're going to pop these pills and just call it a day. No, that was the reality. That it was a harsh one at that. But we had to endure and we had to deal. The harsh reality with this is that we tell you guys, Madden is going to get there, but it's going to take time. The same sentiment that we have been telling you guys since 2000, AZ said it first, since 2012. You have another individual in the community that went down to EA and said the exact same freaking thing when he came back. But his video got all kinds of thumb downs and dislikes. I wonder why that is. Because he spoke the truth on something, and now all of a sudden, because it's not the widely accepted opinion that people want, it's a problem now. That's interesting. So don't get mad at us because we're telling you the truth and you say, oh, you're just defending in damage control. Once again, you saying damage control, you're giving your opinion off of what we're saying. It's not fact. We're telling you the truth and you don't want to hear it. Because to you, that's the quote-unquote cancer in your ear. Oh, EA is getting it there. No, that's not real. They can't. They can never make football games right. There's too many videos out here to prove that point. You got live streams on Twitch. You got people that upload 20, 30-minute videos of gameplays like Hollywood Sports. There's too much out here to just sit here in denial and just run behind a flaw video and say it does nothing in regards to football. That's not true. That's not true. And if you want to run behind damage control, that's fine. Stick to your opinion, because at the end of the day, we put the facts on the table. Draw your own opinion, conclusion, whatever. That's perfectly fine. Do what you do and have yourself a blessed day. Because at the end of the day, I told you, Sim told you, Azur told you, I said it a few weeks ago at the beginning of March. I said, do not purchase Madden 16. If it ain't got what you want, leave it on the show. Don't sit up here, buy it, and then make all kind of videos talking about, oh, it does nothing in terms of football. Why'd you touch it then? Leave it on the freaking show. That makes no sense to me at all. That's like being married with kids and everything, but you still talking to your ex. For what? I thought you got everything you need. You good. Don't bother with her no more. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm sorry I went on AZ. My bad, brother. But this, like Sim said, it's irking to be. See, this is the bad part being in this position. It's very irking because we know and we tell it, but some people want to be on they don't want to be on that path of righteousness. They don't want to hear what you got to say. They want to go with the general population, and it's like, well, that's what you want to do. Fine, I'm not mad at you, but it's just a shame that when we tore Madden down brick by brick, you believed in everything we had to say. But now we're sitting up here telling you the reality that, hey, these guys are rebuilding this game brick by brick, and you don't want to hear it. You don't want to accept that. All right, that's fine. So I'll pass it to Azura. Like I said, my bad for going on, you guys, but I'm echoing that same sentiment like y'all are. So please go ahead.
This is what it's for, man.
You're good.
This is what it's for.
And the thing about it is, both of you all have touched on significant points. I just want to start off by saying holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And that's what some people in the community have done towards EA, Sim Standard, or anybody else for that nature that has seen positive in Madden. It's like you drink poison and expect us to die from it. That's really, really illogical and really stupid. So, from what has been said by Smitty and Sim, and as I tell you many times before, you could put EA Madden could be produced by 2K and it was still called Madden. And some of you people in the community would still not be able to take it. I told Sim and Smitty earlier, people are still hurt over Madden 06. You got to let that go. That is gone. You holding yourself to something that happened 10 years ago, $200-$300 ago, when you bought that, like Sim did, bought that Xbox thinking it was going to be like the commercial, and you were disappointed. You got to let it go. They got you on that. And like Smitty said, you can't hold them accountable for cleaning up somebody else's mess. And you can't, well, don't get me wrong, it's the same company, it's EA. You can't hold them accountable, but you would be illogical in doing so because it's a new crew up there. Ian Cummins is not up there. And I've done this on air, I think, before. Apologies to Ian Cummins. Because before I was in the building, I thought it was Ian Cummins' fault that Madden was so bad. And he might have been a contributing factor. But if I knew what I knew now, if I had somebody in the position that we're in telling us what was going on with the game at that point, my frustration probably would have been tempered down a little bit. So here you have us, 3 individuals that get to go down and be liaisons for the community, voice your concerns, give you feedback. And let me keep it 100. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a technological person by means of saying that I could fix the game myself, because if I could, I would have done it by now. And if you could, you should have done it by now. All we can go do is give feedback and let them as engineers and developers, try to do their job. They have bosses to answer to, just like if you have a job, you have somebody to answer to. And we can have all the ideas in the world. Take Phil and Sim out. Get local talent. Have voice actors. Do like 2K and get Peter O'Keefe and Dan, whatever his name was, and do all this other kind of stuff. Put a show in, all that kind of stuff. Every single idea has man hours. And you have to be able to make deadlines. So what you do is you set a course for those deadlines. You say, you know what? Realistically, we're not going to be able to touch this until Madden 17. So let's start doing this, laying the foundation, Madden 15. Then by the time we get to 16, we will have done some work on it. 17, it'll be all the way rolled out. Now, does that help with consumer frustration? No. But these things do take time. And like Smitty said, you can't blame Jim Caldwell for Matt Millen's discretions and what he did with the line. People who are there now are starting to clean it up. That's the thing you have to realize and come to without passing the field.
Yeah, man. I mean, we can go ahead and move to the next topic. And, just the only last thing I would have to say about that is we keep telling you. We keep telling you, and you wonder why. Like, why are we doing it? We don't have to do it. And nothing that we say on this show helps EA's pocket. So you can kill that notion right there. Like, it's funny. I'm glad that you give me that kind of power, but I can tell you right now, I don't have that power to help them with sales. I'm not that big of a known individual, nor is Smitty, nor is Azure. I mean, come on, man. Like, when you say stuff like that, it's so comical because please show me where I have the ability to do that. And the last thing I will say before we jump to the next topic, and I'll let, Smitty lead with the the next topic. This is something I feel like I have to say, because like I said, man, I'm a real guy. Like, y'all don't know my background. You don't know how I came up, the type of dude I am, my walk of life. And I just can't believe that people have come at me the way that they have over a video game. At the end of the day, these are games. Think about all the people who have a problem with me. I'm going to let y'all ponder on that. And some of y'all listening to the call. What's the root of it? A game. You got that much problem with a dude that you don't know personally about how he feels about a game or his opinion or the way he moves in the community. Something's very wrong with that. I got dudes out here inviting me to their genitals, man. I'm going to tell you right now, the way I came up and where I'm from, I'll say this with confidence. They invited me to their genitals. I'm going to say it the nice way, because we have kids that listen to the show. But I've been invited to genitals, man. Just recently. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm the type of dude, if you was to say that in front of me, I'll punch you right in your mouth. I don't play them games. The way I was brought up, if I saw you right now as a grown man, you might catch it. Because it's principles where I came from. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, y'all just know me as SimFBallCritic. Y'all don't know me. And I don't share these things because, for what? I don't know y'all. But, bruh, y'all don't know me like that. Trust me. It was a point in time in my life that at a certain age, even with this internet thing, I would have probably looked some of y'all up and been like, yo, meet me so-and-so. I know where you at, come see me. I ain't about that, though. I'm a grown man now. But I'm just trying to tell y'all. And I'm not claiming to be no tough guy, nothing like. I'm just telling y'all, I ain't that dude, man. So it's funny to see all of these internet guys. It's almost like catfish. You know what I'm saying? And so one individual knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's like catfish. They got a whole lot to say, but when they see you, I mean, you can listen, you can hear church mouse. You can't even hear that around them. It's so quiet. You're like, got anything to say? Nah. They ain't got nothing to say no more. Because now I'm a grown man standing in front of you. Now they want to befriend you and all that. Come on, man. I ain't that guy, man. I'm trying to tell you I'm not that dude. But again, I'm a grown man. I ain't on it like that. You dudes can never get me to that point. Because, again, this is a video game thing we're talking about. But it's crazy, man. Inviting another man to your genitals over video games really tells me a lot about you. But, man, let's go into the next topic. Smitty, I'm going to let you kick it off, man. Go ahead. Yeah, you got something.
I got something to say about that kind of talk. Like, people that talk back greasy, if you have that kind of intrigue to the point where you're intrigued by somebody of the exact same race, you need some mental evaluation as well as some spiritual guidance. If you're that concerned about getting down with another brother like that, if that's the best that you could say as a grown individual, you know what I'm saying? That's the strongest you could come with, especially when you're talking about a video game as well on top of it. Because that's what you got to come down to, come ahead with and say. And don't get me wrong, the individuals like this that talk greasy, when you confront them, and I mean, I'm using the air quotes, confront, like get on Skype and talk to them, they got nothing to say. But when they behind that keyboard, you know what I'm saying, they 7 feet tall, 300 some odd pounds, run a 4,140, and they bench press a ton. You know what I'm saying? Like, they the baddest man on earth behind that keyboard. So it doesn't, and trust me, I've had multiple people, dudes that make videos and comment on my stuff right now. I've been in Skype calls with guys that when I ask them, hey, you said I'm not relevant. What's up with that? Crickets. They ain't got nothing to say.
Nothing.
All of a sudden, but when they at home, no, they quick to make video. When they ain't on Skype, they quick to make a vid about you and got something slick to say. So, it's whatever, man. It's whatever.
I told people, man, a long time ago, YouTube, social media eventually shows your real character because you get so comfortable, you start coming out. And that's probably why you even hear me talk the way I do tonight. Like, yo, for real, I ain't that, like, that's the real me. I can't, the whole ha-ha playful sim is like, the real me is like, yo, you need to check them though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't hide your real self for so long. And a lot of you dudes are exposing your real self. That is terrible. Like, if this the type of guy you are, wow. That's all I can say. But anyway, man, let's not waste time on that.
Yeah.
So, this Unreal Engine, man, we're going to go around and we're going to talk about perhaps what we're expecting, what we think we may see, the fact that we haven't seen it on a sports game, how does that affect our opinion, how we thought about the trailer that came out that kind of showed the Unreal 4 engine. So, Smitty, kick that off for us, man. Like, how are you feeling about the engine itself and the fact that we haven't seen it running something like a football game? Does that have you concerned at all?
Potentially it does. I mean, yeah, the engine looks good for the games that, that at least shown in that little showcase, but we don't know what it's going to be like in terms of an actual game. Because remember, before Backbreaker came out, we've seen those physics in the Star Wars Force Unleashed. We also saw them in GTA 4. And the physics look phenomenal. So when it came to Backbreaker, we all up here thinking like, man, all these physics are going to be off the chain, man. It's going to be crazy. Can't wait. The physics were nice, but it was still very rough, and it was still very sloppy. It had a lot of sloppy tendencies and everything, and that's once again stuff. That's that whole tell me what you want to hear, see what you want to see type deal. Because I gotta give props to Versus because he did show a lot of messed up stuff that happened with that within Backbreaker due to that. So with that being said, though, do I expect that same kind of effect to happen with the Unreal tech? No, not necessarily, because Unreal has powered some of the best games out there. But yet and still, we don't know how it's going to perform when it comes to a sports game. You can only imagine based upon other games that have utilized it. Like, I want to say, what's the name of the game? Batman, the Arkham series. I think it used Unreal Tech, if I'm not mistaken. It used it.
I think so.
Yeah, but then you're talking about a series of games that spent years in development, you know what I'm saying, before the first one even hit the street. So, you know, and then that brings the whole mystery of Montana into the fold. You know, like, how many years have they been working on this game in the background? How many years, you know, of them, because I'm pretty sure they had this engine before it was released to the public or anything. You know, they've had the engine, they had the time to work with it and develop and things of that nature. So, you know, I mean, the engine is good. You know, Unreal Engine has proven itself to be very good to, you know, maximize the potential of a game off of. It's just a matter of what kind of quality are we going to get as far as the game is concerned. So they can make a good game. It's just really going to come down to what the developers are able to pull off and achieve due to this tech. But no, that's basically all I have to feel on it because, once again, like you said in your video yesterday, playing Battlefield Hardline because we actually got something to go by. We don't have nothing to go by except tweets and a handful of stills. So until we got something to really concrete go by, like, all we can really go is just by from past works of games in different genres and say, well, based off of this racing game and this, you know, action game, it may work. It may, you know what I'm saying? Like, I believe it will be good, but we don't know. And that's what cracked me up, like you said in your video yesterday. It cracked me up to see guys declaring how good the gameplay is going to be based off of one screenshot and tweet. Like, we don't have anything. So if it takes one screenshot and tweets, then I mean, Clint, you know what I'm saying, Donnie, whomever, yo, get that screenshot up immediately and just tweet away. Then, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what it takes. But, you know, like, I mean, obviously it takes a heck of a lot more than that, but it's like you're giving a game something that hasn't done anything yet. Yeah, the Unreal Engine is a nice engine. It definitely is. That's been proven. But we haven't seen its impact in sport. So we gotta wait and see what kind of impact is this engine gonna have with sports games. You know, with it, well, I should say in this case scenario, with this sports game in Montana 16. We don't know. All we could do is just hit it with the Jordan shoulder shrug right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know. So we're going to find out, you know, and that's the main thing that I say on Twitter. I said it months ago, don't put all your eggs in one basket. People going to do that anyway because that's what I don't like to see happen with this community. I don't like seeing people just go that desperate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we want competition, but dang, you know, like, come on now. Like, don't lose your marbles over speculation. You know what I'm saying? We don't have anything concrete to go by, but the best part about all this is that it's inevitable. We're going to find out. You know what I'm saying? One way or another, we're going to find out what the reality is, and then that's going to be it. So we'll see. But I'll pass it to Azura or Sim, either one of y'all.
All right, man. We need more information on this game. When I'm referring to Joe Montana, because it's just not enough out there concrete to say one way or another what to expect from the Unreal Engine from a sports perspective. Because it can look good in other games, like you said, shooters or racing or RPGs, but sport has a whole nother element to it, especially football, because as we have seen, and I kind of get that backbreaker feel. It feels like 2007 all over again, or whenever backbreaker came out. That, not 2007, but whenever backbreaker came out, it feels like that time all over again. That it's kind of like you don't know what to expect, but at the same time, you're kind of hopeful. Because I'm hopeful. In terms of gameplay, I'm hoping that it can push in some areas, even if it's not all there, push in some areas that maybe Madden is weak in, especially if that franchise news is anything like it has been rumored and it's able to be mobile as well. That's already a leg up on Madden, because Madden and CSM, you can't take it mobily. The little app or whatever, I mean, they don't even have an app. They have a website, and through that website, you're able to basically maneuver a little bit. But you can't do as much as what has been rumored in Joe Montana football. So we need some more concrete. Damon Groh, if you're listening, man, put some pressure on Joe, man. Stylistically talk him into getting some more information out there, because right now you just got people throwing information around and trying to be the person breaking the news or getting rumors out there. When in all actuality, if you come out and just give a nugget of information here and there, you can still build a fever pitch. But at the same time, you want to get ahead of some of the negative stuff that can come along with not giving any information at all. So I know they probably have a timetable. If this game is actually coming out unlicensed and it drops in July, like Backburger did, then I'd want to hear some news before E3, honestly. And then at E3, just show it off. Show what you've been doing, And I think if people pay close attention, this is just my opinion, which, as Smitty has told you before, it doesn't mean it's a fact. This is my opinion. It's my opinion that the game plays similar to All Pro Football 2K8. And the reason I say that, or the reason being, is Damon Groh selectively watches All Pro Football 2K8. He watches other stuff on Twitch too, as Sim said. He came through his battle line. He's a Twitch fanatic. But why watch such an old football game like All Pro Football 2K8? And it is my opinion that it plays similar to that, and he wants to see how people take to an unlicensed game. And if you were watching the Simulation NFL stream last Sunday, I believe, I think it got up to maybe about, I don't know, 30 and between 30 and 50 viewers, which to me, in my opinion, is like 100 to 500 viewers for All Pro Football 2K8. But, that game is old. It didn't have any NFL ties to it. And people were just watching it, conversating in the comment section. And Damon was in there as well. So it's my opinion that it plays like that, but we need some concrete. We need to know. We don't even know what platform this thing is on, besides maybe PC. So that right there is enough in itself to annoy a person looking for information or something concrete to hang their hat on about this game, when in all actuality, there's nothing really concrete about it yet. It's just flying in the wind. So they need to nail something down, put something out so the community can say, you know what, we're going to drop our anchor right here with this information and wait for some more information. But right now, just dropping a screenshot of muscle-bound players and a D-lineman tripping over a blade of grass ain't going to do it. So I need some more concrete information. The sooner you get out in front of it, to me, in my opinion, the better, as you have E3 to go ahead and wow people, get people's hands on it, and get footage out to the people. But as we say with 2K Sports, don't delay, because if it's something in there that the community, you know, can help you fix, let's fix it on the front end rather than the back end. So I give it to Sim.
Yeah, man, you actually make a good point, man. And just before I go into what I was going to say real quick, It's a great point what you said about that. And see, guys, this is what we do, man. We try to read between the lines. And I made a joke with Damon last night, and I was like, okay, I get you. And he knew what I was trying to say because he was answering certain questions in a way that he knows that I would get it. You know, if you just take time to read between the lines of what he's saying. And it's funny because then, I see other people ask him straight, direct questions, and I joke with him, and I'd be like, man, he's not going to answer that question like that. He's too good for that. I made a joke. I said, he has good media training like we do. There's certain things we're not going to answer, but if you just listen, it's ways for you to just break certain things down. And look at how Azul was able to just say, that's his take on it, and here's the facts of why he feels that way. It's his opinion, but he's using factual things that he sees to have an opinion. That's a great point, because Damon also said, I remember one day, is anybody streaming any football, preferably 2K8? Very interesting. And they showed that picture about 2K5, but why don't we see him talking about 2K5 as far as the game? There's a link right there to what Azul said. Maybe it's because this game might be unlicensed. They want to see how it will be received. Very possible. Very, very possible. And real quick, too, man, I saw a guy mention that there was a video about Damon Groh and Joe Montana talking about and confirming the game. It's actually on, I want to say it's TechCrunch. You can look it up on YouTube. It's an old video. It's like a year ago, and they're talking about the IMFL. But Joe Montana, if you get a chance, go look at it. Joe Montana gives a lot of hints about what he's trying to do with other games, and he would love to make another game. So that could be a little bit of confirmation that definitely a game, has been in the works for a little while. But anyway, man, so we can get on to the next topic. Let me just reflect on the Unreal Engine. This is one thing I can say right out the gate. Looking at that trailer, I think the environment will be outstanding. If this is in their football game, I think the environment will be amazing. Grass and lighting and, the clouds. And that's what I took from that video. But once again, how is it going to run as far as a sports game? We know this stuff now because we have an inside track. But even let's say if you didn't have the access that we had, look at Backbreaker. My fear is that Joe Montana 16 will be, and Azul, almost stole my point there, but we're right, we're thinking alike. I think it's going to be Backbreaker. It's going to be the new Backbreaker in terms of, I think that game will have elements to show us what they want to do and where they're going if they get, more games. But I just don't think it's going to be a full-blown best experience you've ever had. I would love for it to be, because then that means we all will be sitting here that show after we play the game. We might even do an emergency show the same night. We would be on here like, yo, what? How did they do this? I would love for that to happen. But my fear is, because it is a newer engine, you haven't really seen a sports game on it, is that it will have key things that we can say, oh, man, that's great right there. Maybe the passing game is good. Maybe the animations are good, like the guy said in the OS post. But it could be lacking other areas. The franchise stuff will probably be good. Damon Groh has already said, that's the heart, of what we're trying to do. Once again, go back to IMFL. We already know there's a mobile connection. So you think they're not going to have it mobilized for you? Of course they are. But who knows as far as total spectrum of a full football game? It might not have the ability quite yet to be the end-all, be-all. We just don't know. And there's too many unknowns. That's why I say wait and see this game for yourself before you go off on all these speculations. So let's go ahead and knock out the third point, man. We can get some of the callers in. I do see guys, just to mention this again, I see some guys in the queue. If you want to talk, definitely press 1 so you can, be put into the queue, and we'll bring you in according to when we received your call. Anybody who is listening online, if you want to give us a call, you can reach us at 914-338-0794. And, even if you don't really have nothing to say, if you just want to call in and say, hey, this is so-and-so, whatever, just want to say what's up to you guys, we'll appreciate that as well. So we'll be taking calls right after this next topic. All right, so cheese-free sports games. Are there any cheese-free sports games? Are there any games out there that, are not cheesy in terms of, we're not talking about flaws, but we're just saying the way the game feels and the way it's built, the structure of the game. And again, I'll let Smitty kick this off because I think I kind of know a couple games that he's definitely going to mention. But Smitty, man, are there any games out here for sim gamers that don't feel arcadey? They have a realistic feel. And, it's very little to no, cheese factor in the game. What games are currently out there? And what are they doing? What things can you say that that they're doing that allows them to accomplish that feel?
Well, basically, the only games that I've experienced, and from what I had asked, it wasn't like, I had this huge poll sample, I should say, in regards to it. But speaking to, put the question out there on Twitter a few days ago, and from the response, primarily, the two games that were brought up were MLB The Show and PES. That's it. Not Madden on PS2, not 2K football, any of them. PES and MLB The Show. That's it. Now, when I look at PES, now I can speak firsthand on PES. Now in particular with 15, and now the AI is crazy. The way players play, like you would feel as if you're playing against another user. The way that they play, like if you play, and I've said this to Sim before, just talking and everything, but if you play against a CPU, you could get the best team in the game. Like you could get FC Barcelona, and you can use them. They're like rated in the 90s overall. And you could go against one of the, generic teams or whatever that are one of the lower tier squads and that are like 60 overall or something, 59 or something like that, something crazy. I got my tail kicked that time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not playing on the highest difficulty, and it's because of the skill that they're using. You know what I'm saying? Like they're tactically playing to their strength, and they'll create an exploit, and then they'll go ahead and get the goal on you. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference with that and FIFA is like you have the player individuality differences, but then you also have the team scheme difference. So if you don't use your personnel to your advantage accordingly based off of what they're best for, yeah, you can mess around and lose games just trying to take somebody pass, and shoot. Like you got to really work the ball around, create a situation, and then try and get the shot in space. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a challenge, but I love it. And it gets frustrating, but it's a good frustration. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind that game because of what it gives you. And now, is that a game that probably could be cheesed online? Yeah, you could probably cheese it. But the thing is, the AI, at least as far as I know, I'm not a big-time soccer guy like that, but the AI doesn't seem to be defunct. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem to be like if somebody's playing cheesy or something like that, then, it must be extremely hard. Either that or there may not be that many people online playing it. That would be my only guess. But every time I see gameplay of that game, it's like true to life what you see on the soccer field. And that's not to knock FIFA because FIFA does it too. But it's just not authentic truly to the play, like the individual player. And then the play style of the team in terms of how they fit how they work as a collective. That's the main difference with that game. Secondly, MLB The Show. That's once again very valid. Now, mind you, it is baseball, but you know what I'm saying. So it's not. You don't have consistent action. There's not, the action is not as feverish. But I can't deny what the game is giving you in terms of the pitch styles, the batting stances, the player looks, all that stuff. Like, it has all that detail. And I mean, the show is a game that for years where you can, and I mean, I've made this point before, we've, echoed this sentiment in the past. You can get like MLB The Show 09 or 10 or something like that, one of those older years, and you'll think, dang, what else can they do? Because they have that much. Now, the only key problem with the show has been the server issues and everything. And on top of it, the game's had some bad bugs and glitches. So it does have some bugs and glitches. And now for people that are the baseball fundamental purists, they would be the ones that would be able, like, I've seen a few videos on the show 14 last year where people were talking about, the fundamental problem. And the funny thing is, before I pass it to Azura, I'll pass it to him. But the funny thing is with this point is that the individuals that I've seen these flawed videos come from, they seem to have the exact same kind of frustration ventilation, just like how we would do with Madden. So I find it ironic that when people vent this frustration in games like the show, it's warranted. But at the same time, it gets swept under the rug. But probably not in that community. Just like how people that get upset with FIFA, they probably don't, they let it be known there. And the same with these other sports gaming communities. But it just seems that in the Madden community, people just act, they just turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to what's actually going on and act like Madden is the only game that has problems. And, other games have issues, but they don't have issues like Madden. It's like, no, on the contrary, there are people that tear a new one into 2K15 because of as if these dudes don't know how to make basketball games and they all need to be fired. Just like what people say about the current Madden devs that are there. So it happens, but nevertheless, back to the point at hand, when you're talking about a cheesy sports game that has very little to basically no cheese element, those are really the two games that, that at least from what people have said, and also that I agree with, because from hands-on experience, I don't see how I'm able to exploit those kind of games. I should say those two games in particular. So I'll pass it to Azura.
Yeah, and I think you hit it right on the head, because I think that's the same thing. You actually stole my thunder with that, because if you look around, it's like you said, it's people who are probably deeper into the game as far as MLB The Show, FIFA, PES, that have problems and go off like we do as far as Madden is concerned. And you see that kind of parallel there. But as far as me, like if I fire up MLB The Show or FIFA or PES, I'm playing against somebody, I don't see as much as I do, with other games like Madden, 2K. And people try, it's funny because I hear people say that 2K is cheese and dairy free. Not so, my friend. Now, it's gotten better, but I don't know. You know what? I was thinking the other day that I think what contributes to you not addressing legacy issues, and then you add in the modes of my team and MUT, which has, these super souped up players, and that just adds to the chaos that can go on in these games. So, I don't know, as far as it being just, that's all I could think of. I mean, I'd like to hear from the community if they have any other games that they feel that are out now, sports games that are cheese-free, or, to where it's more strategic over manipulation. So, we'll see what people have to say and how it goes with the community as well. But I can't see it.
Yeah, man. I don't really have much to say because you guys basically covered my thoughts as well. I would have to say, just from what I've heard, and like Smitty said, hands-on experience, I would have to say MLB and Pez. I haven't had a lot of time with Pez, but just playing the demo and just seeing how the AI reacts to you and how they play you and how they set you up, and then speaking with guys that I know that play that game, it definitely has an edge over FIFA because, like we said, guys who are really into that game, I actually learned something the last time I was at EA speaking with a guy that plays a lot of FIFA. He was like, man, this is wrong, the speed is off, and this and this and that. Something I wouldn't notice because I'm not a soccer head, so I don't know the ins and outs. You don't hear that kind of stuff from Pez. I hear from people who play both games, they're really into soccer. Everyone says the gameplay is stellar in PES. Not great, better than great. People say that it's stellar, like wonderful. And even, me being a novice guy in soccer, when I play the demo, I'm like, oh my God. Not only, the AI, but the way it moves and all of that stuff. So I would have to say that. And then definitely I have owned the MLB The Show before, and that game it was so real. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there's some cheese tactics in there. Maybe what I can see probably would be, maybe in the area of pitching. Depending on what setting you have it on, you might have, a way to kind of, manipulate the AI or something like that. I could see that possibly happening. But other than that, it ain't really much you can do because the AI is so good, so it's hard to cheese it. And the last little thing I would say, 2K15 is close in terms of, something Smitty said earlier, like player likeness. It's close in terms of how the players play like themselves, because when you play against, a LeBron or, Damian Lillard comes to mind, or not even him, Monte Ellis. Oh my God, when I'm playing against Monte Ellis, it's Monte Ellis. He plays like himself. They attack. Rondo plays the way he plays. Monte Ellis plays the way he plays. LeBron plays the way he plays. It's like you can feel individuality.
Not to cut you off, but I got to give him credit on that too, because now that you put that little nugget out there, it's the traits and the, what do you call them things? Signature skills.
The badges.
And that's one of the things that we talked about, abilities for a football game that we've seen them do, that even though it's tied to, certain animations, it helps separate players. And that's one of the things that you don't really get to see with man, that I hope that they start taking steps to improve upon, because, hey, if I can do the same spin move with LaShawn McCoy that I can with Jeremy Hill, or, Eddie Lacy, who is known for his signature spin move, has the same spin move as Bishop Sankey, then, it takes away from the immersion. And like you said, player likeness not being there. What's the point of having them if you don't have them play? So, and to me, player traits, signature skills, whatever you want to call it, abilities, to me, even means more than player rating. I mean, honestly, because how many times have you seen somebody take, and I used to do it when I was playing Madden Ultimate Team. Jeff Demps, who was rated 54 overall, was more effective than C.J. Spiller, who was rated like 81 overall in Madden Ultimate Team, just because he was faster. And I get sick of it being just because he's fast, he's effective in that. You know what I mean? Because you'll see dudes in CFM reaching for a cornerback that they scouted that has 98 speed, or a wide receiver that has 98 speed, and he'll be like 46 overall. But all he's doing is throwing deep to him and get him all kind of XP and upgrade them and all that kind of stuff. It's more than speed. It's more than speed receivers. You have more than you're just Mike Wallace out there. You got people who run a whole different route tree that his, other route receivers don't have. And if that's not replicated in the game, then you have staleness, you lose immersion. And like I said, what's the point of having a Larry Fitzgerald who's known for his route running ability when you can just get a Mike Wallace or Chris Rainey or DeAnthony Thomas and just throw the ball to him up over the defense?
But now I just got to inject this point though. That is a great point from the 2K's perspective. But this is the other question too, though, factually. How many years did it take before we got those badges?
True. and oh yeah, that's
what
I was gonna say. I'm not sure about PES and FIFA. I'm pretty sure MLB The Show has had a model of consistency, but Madden has to stop turning over individuals. You know what I mean? And when I say turnover, I mean losing people and letting people go, or because to be honest, Victor Lugo should have never left the building. He's an innovator. He's an innovator, a creator, and a talented developer. And I know that fighting is one of those things that he has a passion for. And the opportunity came up to work on that game. Him being an MMA fighter himself, I'm pretty sure that he enjoys going to work every day. But you don't let that kind of guy walk out your building. So you have to have consistent staff development, and you got to have people who are in the building that know what they're doing. So you got to add to the team and keep the consistency. Like you said, it took 2K football 7 years, and we're about year 4 for Madden right now with being at least as consistent as they have been with having the same people in the building. So, by that time, 3 more years, we can compare it to, hey, how did they do versus 2K all the way to 2K8.
Yeah. But see, this is the other thing. This is the other factual point, too. Well, excuse me, the opinion that was echoed. The physics are completely broken in Madden 13, so why is it that why feel bad that Vic left the building? And I'm saying that from a community standpoint. I'm not saying you or me or Sim. I'm saying from a community standpoint, the physics were broken, but that was Vic's area. So then he leaves, and you're saying, oh, man, see, Madden's going to be worse. So I'm like, so wait a second. So you didn't like what he did, but you're mad that he left. So which one is it? It can't be he's an asset, but then you make it out like what he did was a liability. See, this is what I'm saying. This is what we talk about. Like, you got to be consistent, like across the board with it. Things got to build up,
And here's the thing: if you're going to let him leave the building, he should have at least had an understudy or a sous chef, so to speak, that could say, you know what, I worked with Vic on this, and here's what he was, working with me each day on. Because to be honest, with such an undertaking as physics, like you said, it's something that has to be improved upon or tweaked. Because I sat there and messed around with it, under the hood. And I was getting different results, tweaking and tuning and messing with stuff myself. So, the fact that if you let them leave the building, you got to have somebody that can take up the mantle and say, you know what, he left, but I know what he did, and this is what we can do carrying it on into the future. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of unknown facts, guys, that you probably can tell. That you hear us brush over them a little bit, but it's a lot of factors that go and that are involved. And I know we're definitely cutting into the caller time. We got about 40 minutes left, so we want to go ahead and do that. Again, a reminder: I see we have 2 calls already in the queue. 404-337. They'll be the first up. I did see 757 a little earlier, so if he comes in, we'll bring him in, of course, like we do every week. Anybody who wants to speak, I see I've received a few DMs asking how to get on the show. Again, call 914-338-0794. Press 1. We'll bring you in on the queue. You can ask your question. And, what we definitely want to start doing, because we expect to grow the longer we do this show is, kind of try to keep the questions and comments, down to a minimum, just to, keep it fair for everyone. We want to make sure whoever calls is actually able to, get a response and get in on the queue. But the last thing I would say, one point we didn't hit, and I think the guys will agree with me on this. I think what they do to make the games that are able to do that, all they basically do is they make everything matter that needs to matter to replicate the sport. That is as simple as that. They make more factors matter. If you made physics and your player positioning, your height, your weight, and momentum, and the degree of difficulty on his shot and passing, et cetera, when you do things like that, like MLB has done, like PES has done, you make the games dynamic. That's what makes it realistic. That's how they do it. So this is what we need our football games to do as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get you guys in. 404 will be up first, then 337, then 205. The order of reply will be Smitty, then Azur, then myself for 205, and whoever else calls. We'll go ahead and keep the same rotation going. All right, man, so thanks for patiently waiting. Area code 404. Got you in live on the show, man. How you doing? 404.
404. 404. You there?
Sorry about that. You hear me?
Yeah, now
we got you.
Sorry about that. Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
The whole Montana and the backbreaker comparisons, I think they're pretty much accurate. The one thing I can remember about backbreaker was it wasn't really developed. It didn't seem like it was developed by like real football knowledge. It was kind of like a test demo for a new engine, more of than an actual built for football. Because when that game came out, physics was great, but it was just a matter of offensive line was broken. All the NFL rules weren't in the game. There was just so many broken aspects of the actual knowledge of football. So I have a little more faith in if Montana is a console game and it is a football simulation on a console, I have a little more faith in it just because it's backed by, football mind, football, a football background. So I'm at the very least I would expect the rules of the game, just the essence of the game should be there. And then, just House Representatives, it's going to be, kind of a wait and see what they come out with. But as far as football being expressed in it, you have Joe Montana in there. You might have other legends, inputting or, just football developers inputting on a football game rather than Backbreaker, which was more of a, I think they were based out of London, a little startup company or something like that. They weren't really, football minds making a football game. So I'm a little more optimistic about something that says Joe Montana on the cover of it. And then as far as the whole hey, how you doing? As far as the whole idea of the development cycle and everything, as far as it took 2K 7 years to make a game, so it should automatically take Madden 7 years to make the same game. I think that's in the technology kind of aspect, that's a little far-fetched because technology moves exponentially. So if it took 2K 7 years with consistent development, I wouldn't expect them to, or any other company, to take another 7 years to try to match what they already made. It should be an exponential progress in technology. So Intel, like if Intel made a new processor today and it took them 6 years to make it, it shouldn't take them another 6 years to, match what they already made. There's already a base there. There's knowledge, there's information, there's facts, there's studies. So it should take half that time or even less because it's technology. So, it's one of those things where maybe you don't have the resources to actually put the effort in, but the idea that it takes the same amount of time to equal something that was made 7 years ago is still, that's one of them things where this is still technology. You say it's video games or whatever, but it's still technology. So data like that, it's passed around It's shared. Ideas are always taken from back and forth between industries. So 7 years to make one game shouldn't mean it should take you another 7 years to replicate that, because you do have the stats, you do have the data, you do have the knowledge technically to surpass what at least was already made, and actually, build it from, whatever you have the resources to build. So the idea is going to take another, well, they've been on it for 4 years, it's going to take another 3 years. I think that's a little far-fetched. Like, there's more than enough technology to say, okay, this is what we can do, what we can try to get where we want to get. It's just a matter of where they're setting their goals at, I guess, and what they feel is important right now. Because at the end of the day, it's a money business too, compared to other industries, let's say. And
I want to ask you a question while you're on the line. So why is it that other companies get a pass when they have the same issues that have been there for generation to generation and they still haven't been fixed?
Well, I mean, I don't think other companies got a pass. I mean, I play NBA 2K all the time. I mean, I think 2K has kind of earned some of that loyalty because they have innovated. But at the same time, I sit there, I swear, I curse. 2K is one of the only games that can just make me flip out. I ask myself why I play it. And it's a lot of the same issues that have always been there. We'll complain about it the same way we complain about Madden, but at the same time, Madden hasn't created that type of energy over, a 7, 8, 9, 10-year run. It's been the negative, that negative energy that's made us more cynical of Madden. But at the same time, a lot of people are cynical of 2K. I mean, I watch streams, I watch videos, and most people are saying, once live gets on point, they're leaving 2K. So I think because we're in this community and we discuss it all the time, it may sound like, okay, all the blame is going towards Madden, but I think all games are like that. There are a few, something like Grand Theft Auto. There's nobody waiting for a Grand Theft Auto replacement because they've innovated, they created something, and they built, a community that people trust them to make a good game. And you have the people that criticize them, but it's a small community that criticizes them compared to Madden, where it might be a 50-50, where people are on the fence or people are saying it's a good enough game to play. Let's stop complaining and just enjoy it. And there's nothing wrong with either side. I mean, video games are it's not a niche thing anymore. It's a big business. It's big for everybody. Everybody's into it, females, males. So, I mean, it's a lot more noisy now, especially with social media. It's going to be a lot more noisy. So, and Madden, like I said, I think Madden has earned some of its criticism. Well, a lot of its criticism because they have, lied or, had certain issues that haven't been fixed up until this point. And it's just a matter of innovation. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people are just waiting for. It's just innovation where we say, wow, this is great. A lot of those negative reviews go away real quick from, your consumers when you actually put something out there that's undeniable. So that's all I got. Appreciate the call, guys. Thanks.
Okay. And I appreciate the call, and and I'll just be real brief with an additional point. The thing is that the Madden actually is starting to turn that corner as far as gaining consumer confidence, because one thing, if you go check VG charts right now, at least as of when I last checked it, when they last had it updated, Madden 15 is outselling NBA 2K15 right now. And trust and believe, it's not solely because of MUT. I know that's the number one thing to say is that Ultimate Team is why, but there's more to it than just Ultimate Team. So, yes, Madden is behind, and yes, they're going to catch heat, and that's the main point we've made for numerous years. Like, we get that. That's part of the frustration. That's not going to go away. Nor are we saying, oh, y'all just need to put it down and just pick up the fact that they're improving. We're not saying that, but it's going. But that's why we tell you that the most frustrating part is the reality is that They're going to get it there, but it's going to take time. And because of the fact it's going to take time, that's frustrating. Regardless of what console platform it is and all that, it's not like they're starting over brand new and fresh. 2K didn't start over brand new and fresh, and you see that they have gameplay issues span as far as PS2, and they still exist today. So they took a jump, but they didn't take as much of a jump, you know what I'm saying, as they should have already. Because the way the game plays in comparison to the sizzle trailers we see, and that's for all games, it doesn't fully compare. It doesn't fully replicate yet. It doesn't translate. So that's why we got to hold that standard across the whole board. But thanks for the call, though. Appreciate your call and, of course, for listening in.
Yeah, man, we definitely appreciate the call. So, you know, good points, and that's what we like, man. So keep calling in, guys, man. Keep calling in and give us your questions and thoughts. So moving on to the next caller, area code 337. We got you in live, man. How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's going on, Sam? I was at the stream last night trying to get some information from Damon Groh. He wouldn't crack.
Yeah, yeah, man. He's good, man. He's good with that.
Yeah. So where to start at, man? What you guys touched on today, man, it's so it's so repetitive now. It's like you got these June bugs that constantly in your ear thinking that they know more than you and try to belittle you because you have an opinion. And it's like, man, my point is like, it's just a video game for one thing. Second of all, anybody's entitled to their opinion. People might think you're a sellout because you don't agree with what they want you to agree with. And I'm looking at the situation as, you know, 2K, I might not even get a basketball this year because 2K it's a great game, but it's the same game since 2011. And it's just, believe it or not, their graphics on the last gen was just as good as next gen. I mean, it's better on next gen, but it's still similar. And I just look at it as from last generation to this generation, it's basically the same game, but they don't catch any heat because their game is using 45 gigabytes worth of RAM or memory to make their game, while Madden is at a mere, I don't know, I think it was like 15 gigabytes of memory to run. So people look at that and say, well, automatically NBA 2K15 is the most dominant game. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm just looking at it as, how do I want to say this? Each his own. I mean, don't get Madden if you don't think that they're going to do anything. But me, I'm like this. I hope Madden brings a better game because I might still get Madden regardless. I might get both games the way it looks like, but I can't make any decision on if I'm going to get Joe Montana 16 because all we got is a screenshot and a couple mocap pictures, and you just can't make a determination. And before I go, I'm going to bring this last information out. Somebody said that on the screenshot, the last screenshot posted by Joe Montana, that if you look inside the stands on one of the banners, it looks like an Xbox symbol. It's in green.
Yeah.
It's the one on the far left. I don't know if you guys heard that, but that might be something to look into. But we still don't know because it's not clear. But that's all I wanted to say. And I'll talk to you guys later. I'll probably be in the stream if you guys stream later on. All right, man. I'll check you guys later. Peace.
Appreciate the call, man. It's always good to have you on. And coming through on the streams, well, you'd be like, what's up, man? This is 337. So it's always good to hear from you. Appreciate the call. But you hit on a great point, man. It's getting repetitive. And it's something that we've been dealing with ever since the Sim standard kind of started, man. It's like we always get pulled back into this, and we try not to, but it's like every now and then, I told Sim and Smitty earlier, it's hard for me not to address ignorance and address when people are blindly being biased, because we're unbiased people. And the fact that biased people try to say that we are biased when we're clearly unbiased, if you listen to the show, if you watch the videos or listen, to the podcast, we're unbiased. We'll give EA a good ribbon on the show as well as in videos, or we'll say, you know what, we don't like this right here, and we need to see less of this and more of this. And when Joe Montana comes out, if it comes out, you think that we're not going to play it because we, affiliated with EA or on the payroll, as some people say. I don't care if that game comes out and it's proper and it's only on Xbox One. Guess what? Azure Effect will be back on Xbox Live. As a matter of fact, I'd never canceled my Xbox Live subscription, so I'll have an Xbox One if that's the case, and that game is only on Xbox One, because I love football and I want to see somebody else's take on football. We said this a million times before. We don't care if Fisher Price makes the football game. If the game plays great, we gonna play it. So I mean, when it comes down to it, maybe one day we will get to the point where we don't do any more of these shows, man, because I'm getting tired of just, and I know Sim and Smitty are tired of drudging up the past. And, as Sim said in the beginning, man, let the past be the past. Let's look forward to what we have. We wanted competition, and it seems like we're going to get competition. We need some more concrete details, Damon, Joe Montana. So, for us to be able to ride with you in that ship, we need to know we're going in the right direction. So when that information comes out, I'm pretty sure Twitter will blow up. The biased people who think that they're unbiased will be all over it like it's the next great thing, and they've never played it. Meanwhile, myself, Sim, and Smitty will wait to actually play it, and then when we do play it, we're going to have something to say about it. So I'll pass it on.
Absolutely, man. So let's go ahead and take the next call. We got 205, and I see a new call has popped in, 334, so we'll grab you right after 205. So Alabama, man, welcome back, man. What you got for us tonight?
Pretty good, guys. How are y'all?
Good, man.
Good, man.
Man, I had to get off Twitter. I haven't been on there in quite a while. I only go on there every once in a while just to see what everybody's up to. I hardly ever comment anymore. It's kind of amazing to me how, stupid people really are, just to put it bluntly, and I hate stupid people. Anybody that knows me personally in my real life knows that I do. You'll come on, you're awful nice, face to face, or, when you're able to talk to somebody like on the radio show or whatever. But you get behind a computer screen or behind a phone on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and you stick your chest out like you the biggest, baddest gorilla in the park. It's kind of funny and kind of ridiculous to me how people look at everyone and automatically they know their whole life story, but yet they don't know anything. Just like I've been treated as the EA cover boy, all this bullcrap. As much stuff as I could talk about EA, I talk about 2K or any other company. It really doesn't matter to me what company you are. What matters to me is football. And if football's not being, put out there, then, it's our place as a community, as a sim community, to put that person or company on, we've got to put them out there and say, hey, look, there's a better way to do things. Whether that be EA, 2K, Joe Montana, or whoever it'll be. What gets me is that, as much as EA has changed in the last few years of doing things that we feel like they're actually trying to listen to the community a little bit more, there's things that I hate about, Madden. There's things that I wish that they would do, but, I feel like they're hand-tied. I feel like, the suits, behind everything, it's all about the money at the end of the day. It's not really necessarily about the devs, and it's always going to be about the money. And at the end of the day, if Joe Montana wants to make it in this market, it's going to be about the money for him too. Because if it's not, he's not going to be able to make another game or produce another game. So it's got to be about the money at the end of the day. It's whether you're in the red or in the black. That's just how it is in business. And on top of all of that, we're coming into the beginning of April. We're starting to have the draft. It's going to be coming up soon. If you're a real NFL game, Joe Montana, I'm just going to say this. If any of y'all from Joe Montana are listening, Big Damon Grove, Joe Montana, which I don't know if y'all are, but if y'all are, look, Madden's getting ready to put up the hype machine, and they're really going to go after this market knowing that the football game, knowing that y'all have a football game coming out. I know y'all want to be covert and all this other stuff. Y'all want to be Solid Snake or whatever it's going to be. Y'all better be getting on that hype train too. Y'all better get onto that market, and y'all better push that. If y'all are a real NFL product, y'all better put it out there. Because if y'all don't, y'all going to be further behind the 8 ball than y'all ever thought y'all would be. Because Madden's coming, whether y'all like it or not. That's not me putting up, a defense for EA. It's just their marketing machine is all about getting those copies into people's houses. They don't care if you're 103 or if you're 10 years old. They want everybody to have a copy of their game. And Joe Montana better feel the same way. And that's just how I feel. Y'all have a great night. Have a great show. And I'll see y'all later.
All right, 205, man. It's never much to say after your comments because you make great points. It's what I said earlier in the show. Intelligence goes a long way, folks. This is a guy that sees it from his own perspective, but he can see clearly. It's one thing to have an opinion, and it's another thing to see clearly. And that's what he said is, he said a whole lot there, and I know y'all got it, but I'm just going to comment real quickly on the last part because we want to grab the next caller, is what I've been saying all this time. Joe Montana, y'all better stop playing because Madden is the king right now. And the community, meaning us, the community that you are marketing to is minute, very small. We are not going to give you huge numbers, even if every last one of us buy the game. Mm-hmm. So knowing that you need to be out there saying, hey, well, we got some too. Think back to when we were kids. I know, we did everything when we was kids, out trying to wash people's cars and, selling things and all that. And you saw the other kids doing it, you had to get out there too and say, oh, I know how to do that too. You have to attract more people, not just the sim community. We appreciate it, and maybe Joe Montana has enough money to where he's like, you know what? I just want to make a game that I love and I'm going to give it to the people who love it. It ain't about the profit. Hey, if that's what you're going for, salute to you. But like 205 said, let's keep it real, man. Nobody gets into business not to make any money. Even non-profit organizations turn a profit. Go figure that one out. Well, that's all I'm saying, man. Let's go ahead and grab this next caller. Smitty would definitely take the reins and respond to your question or comment. Area 334, man, we got you in live on the show. How you doing, man?
What's up, man? What's up? This EA Sports Ideas, man.
Hey, what's going on, bro?
What's up? Hey, what's going on? I wanted to talk about that image because that's one thing that's been on my mind for a while. Joe Montana image, as you can see, you look at the tones, you look at the visuals, it kind of does remind you of Backbreaker. But what I want y'all to pay attention to, or anybody else that hasn't seen it, is when you look at the banners, and they stated that it could be an Xbox exclusive. It could not. It probably not. But me, I'm a PlayStation 4 owner right now, so I have no time to worry about an exclusive game that's going to be on a different console. But when I looked to the right, I could see, to me, it looked like it may say 2K Sports. I don't know if you guys see it or not, but to me, it does look like that. And I tried to look for different de-blurring softwares on the computer to try to de-blur the photo to get a better visual of what was going on, but I could never get it to get crisp, so I just left it as that. But as you say, it's all speculation, no matter if it's an opinion or not. So, but that's one thing I wanted to point out. And to the left, it had the green letters. I was kind of wondering if that was stating like an Xbox logo or something. That started to worry me, but I mean, as far as gameplay wise, I could see that as the guy tripping over, it looked like some physics may have taken place right there. Some good stuff going on, but like they said, Madden, is in the lead right now. It's going to take them a while. I don't think they're going to come out the first year with a banger. It's going to, I can say it could probably take a year or two, because, when you look at the Madden team, you have Clint Oldenburg, former NFL player, number 68. He has knowledge of what goes on the field. He could probably contact guys, have them come in, do the mocap sessions, get some really authentic things in the game. But when you look at Montana, you have Joe Montana himself, and he's the only one on the squad, which I know of, that knows the game of football. So hopefully everything goes out as planned. And that's practically what I have to say.
Okay. Well, one thing I will say is that there are a lot more football guys there than just Clint. Clint is just the one that we all see on the surface. Rex is a football guy too. He played collegiately, and there are other guys there that work there that have a football background as well, but they're not in front of the camera. They're not on social media. So you're not going to know. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, they're doing what we wanted. That's the crazy part about it. And the funniest thing is that, with the Sim community, like Sim said, and it's true, this community is small, but we also have the biggest voice because they're doing what we were demanding to happen. We wanted football guys in the studio. We got football guys in the studio. We need double team pass blocking and all these elements to be done. They're doing it. But the thing is, it's just going to take time, and that's the most frustrating part, especially when it's been 10 years. See what I'm saying? So, of course, people are going to get fed up over that. That's undeniable. But these guys walked into a bad situation. It was a bad situation. I know Cam and all them knew it was a bad situation before they walked in that door and, signed the paperwork and said, I'm going to sign up and take the helm of this series. That's, it is what it is. So, people can hang on to what happened back then and bring it forward to today. That's perfectly fine. It's completely justifiable, the frustration. But in addition to that, though, can't just sit here and deny that these guys are not progressing the title the way we wanted it to. Yeah, it's rough, but the bottom line is we don't know that they can't make the game, if they can make the game happen on this engine or not. We don't know that for a fact. We don't even know that for a fact, and we go down there. So as somebody that hasn't been there, how can you factually say they can't do it or it's not possible? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can say, we all agree that, we would love for them to have a new engine to work with, but who's to say they can't do it off the current engine? Who really would know that? Like, other than Clint or Rex or any of those guys, who in this community has the factual information to tell us it can't happen on those consoles, and this is exactly pinpoint truth why? Don't tell me based off of your opinion it's a flaw video. Tell us exactly why. That's the kind of explanation that I want to hear. I don't want to hear, well, in my opinion. No, tell me the truth. Give me the facts. I can, you know what I'm saying? I don't care about opinion, facts. So, but thanks for the call, though, man. I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, definitely thanks for the call, man. And let me say something before we get the next call. It looks like we do have one last call. We're at about 10 and a half minutes, so we want to definitely get you in. That's area 843. But let me say this real quick in regards to EA Sports Ideas. Guys, if you're on Twitter, check him out. Again, it's at EA Sports Ideas. He has some talking points in regards to Joe Montana, what he would like to see in terms of gameplay and rules as well. Don't really have time right now to go over them all. Maybe we can talk about it next week. But just take a look at some of the things that he would like to see in that game that will make the game, a nice outing. And some of the stuff, it may or may not be possible with it being a first-year game. But again, it's at EA Sports Ideas. And like Smitty said, we do definitely appreciate you calling. And before we grab 843, I just want to say this. I always say this, man, selective hearing. Some people have selective hearing. Let's rewind a little bit. When Ian Cummins did the podcast with Rich Gresham, do y'all remember what he said about the engine? The question was, do you think they could produce, a good game or what have you, or turn things around? Is it a problem with the engine? What did he say? He said, no, it's not the engine, it's the code. There you go. There's a guy who was the lead developer. We tell you all the time, it's coding. We hear these things all the time. You have to go back, rewrite, and add new technology and new systems to work within the system. So it ain't necessarily the quote-unquote engine. But like I said, that's a little too technical for me. I'm not even going to act like I can have that conversation. But let's go ahead and grab 843. Appreciate you calling tonight, man. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Y'all doing all right?
Yeah, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. I just want to, give my opinion on a few things. First off, y'all are, from day one, I just want to thank you guys for what y'all do for the community. I know it can get kind of hectic, but y'all gotta, I appreciate y'all, all the info, dropping everything. And I know it can be crazy sometimes, but you got to keep pressing on. But this whole thing with this pic, man, the screenshot, at this point, I'm just like, man, I got a feeling they're gonna drop something, probably around a draft time. That's when Backbreaker came out in 2010. They released that trailer. I mean, we had seen it, dev diaries and everything. But I just got a feeling they're not going to wait until E3, because I know E3 will be, because the draft is in May, right? Or is it in April?
Yeah, it's in May.
It's in May. I got a feeling they'll drop it then.
April 30th, I think, is the first day of the draft, I think. April 30th, I want to say. 30th. Yeah, but pretty much May, though. Same.
Yeah, I think that's when they'll drop it. And I tell you what, this simulation football league thing, man, it's amazing, man, to see everybody comment. Because I watch Twitch all the time. I watch I follow various people on Twitch, and the other night we was watching it. It's crazy. We can watch Awful Football 2K8, and the commentator with his skills, and seeing everybody come together and talk like that, and then having David Grohl in there, watching and commenting too. It's just, I think it's good times because we've been waiting so long. And of course, everybody's not going to be on the same page, but it is what it is, because in a few months, man, we will have, another option. Hopefully it's good coming out of the gate. I don't expect nothing, to blow it out of, something amazing. If it does, I mean, I of course I'll be happy, but for the first try, I expect something solid. That's my expectation,
And it's healthy competition.
Yeah, healthy competition. Now, one thing that kind of threw me, and I'm telling you, I watched the video last night, is the comment about Donnie Moore. And I just think, my opinion, I feel like competition is on the horizon, and they're gonna take those shots. And I'm like, come on, man. We know the engine for Madden it's improved, but it's still broken in certain areas. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and to say it's, but
gotta pick your battles.
Shots at them, man.
You gotta pick your battles, man. I said you gotta pick your battles if you Donnie Moore. Like, it's like I said. I mean, we've all met him. We've met him, sat down, and talked to him. A few times. He's a good guy when we just talk about person. But as far as his job and where he works, I can't agree with that. That wasn't the place to do that. Like, because the criticism that you had to know you was gonna get for that comment. Like, come on, bro. Like, nah, you can't do that. Your game ain't the king of the hill because it's the best gameplay. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I won't feel in that. And I'm definitely gonna tell him next time I see him, like, hey, man, that was a little crazy what you did, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got to say, man. Y'all keep keep doing your thing, man, and don't let the haters get to you. I'll take care.
Yeah, man. We definitely appreciate the call, man. I know we all appreciate that. And, like Azura said, man, sometimes, and we're the main ones, and I know I'm one of the main ones that preach it. Like, just don't worry about it. Turn the other cheek. But I always like to use this analogy, and, it may upset some people because it's, somebody going to say, oh, why did you have to go there? But it's just like, Malcolm and Martin. We all know the story. You know, Martin Luther King said, nonviolent, turn the other cheek. Malcolm X said, yeah, okay, but by any means necessary. So we try to be Malcolm. I mean, we try to be Martin as much as we can, but sometimes you got to be like, look, man, all right, you ain't going to say nothing else. You know, we got to respond sometimes. At the end of the day, we're still men. That's number one. Number two, you know, like I said in my video, it's people that want to hear what we have to say. And I appreciate that. It's people that send me messages all the time like, yo, man, I just want to know. I know you don't usually get into all of that. You don't do the whole beef thing and all. But I'm just curious to know your position on certain things. So I think we owe it to you guys that we're honored to have people follow us. We owe it to you sometimes to let you know what we really feeling. So that's why, you know, some nights you're going to get calls, you know, you're going to get us talking the way we talk tonight. And sometimes we just got to do that to let you know we do still have a pulse. And they're not important. That's why we never name drop. You know, it's very rare that we would say a person's name. And sometimes it requires a specific situation, but that's why we don't give them no like, man. They know who they are. Because at the end of the day, they're fans. Because they watch my videos and listen to the show more than people that follow me. That's the crazy part. But we're going to keep pressing on, man. You know, we're going to keep doing that thing. Yeah, go ahead, Smitty.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to say one thing, though, about the competitive aspect. This one thing we got to remember, whether games were good, whether games were bad, whatever the situation is with the title, if Twitter was around back then, game day would have been taking shots at Madden. Madden would be taking shots at 2K. Quarterback Club would be taking shots at all of them. You see what I'm saying? That would be going on with everybody. That's why I understand, yes, Madden is behind, and it's like, how dare you say that? But at the same time, you got to remember, there's an old commercial that people probably forgot about, and some people, they may not have existed to remember this, but there was an ad put out back then on television that was put out a lot, and in game magazines. Genesis does what Nintendo. See what I'm saying? And they just bigged up. I mean, they went from Sega Master System and they put that Sega Genesis out there and just said, man, this thing does everything. Nintendo ain't got jack on this. It's the same kind of deal. It's the competitive spirit between one company and another. But look where Sony is at now. I mean, not Sony. Look where Sega is at now versus where Nintendo is. You see what I'm saying? But back then, they was jostling like that. See what I mean? So, you know, I love seeing that because that's the spirit of competition that's been missing for 10 years. You know, it's been gone. So it's nice to see devs come out and take shots and everything. And, you know, one's going to talk smack on Twitter, but another's going to one-up you with the gameplay. Like, I love that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that means you putting your dog in the fight no matter what. Like, he got a gimp leg and all, and he only got one tooth. But you still won't go in there and fight. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love it at the end of the day. Like, it's competition. This is what we wanted. Like, that's why I'm so amped. Like, this is what we wanted. So I'm glad to see that kind of stuff happening again.
Yeah, when you put it like that I can see your point, man. If it was meant with that intent, then I'll give him credit. But if it was just some... I don't know. There I go speculate. I don't know where it came from, so we'll leave it at that. But definitely a great point. So we're at about 40 seconds, man. Azul, you got anything left to say to the guys before we roll out?
I appreciate people calling in and call in next week. Thanks for the support.
Absolutely, man. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Like Smitty said, man, I'm making it a habit now to get these on YouTube. Guys have expressed that they can't always listen to it on Blog Talk. So I will have it up. I'll probably try to download it tonight and render it, and sometime tomorrow it'll be available. So we'll be back at you guys next week with another show. Like always, tune back in. Peace.
Don't forget, guys, every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, Sim Standard Radio. If you want to reach us, you can give us a call at 914-338-0794. For more content, click the link above.